No Limit Texas Hold'em is the Cadillac of poker.
You don't happen to have $8,000 on you?
Oh, no, we don't use money in heaven.
Comes in pretty handy down here, bub.
Oh,
You just won $1 million!
You're making a run at it, aren't you? Rolling up a stake and going to Vegas.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Pretty big update in my channel and life in general today. If you haven't been following along on Instagram, you're just even further behind on the news, so I guess I'll just start back from my last actual vlog. Alright, so World Series of Poker 2019, you know, the one with the last actual real main event, possibly. So I came back to Vegas with a pretty short roll for playing professionally, only about 10K. Can't really recommend that for anyone, especially professionally, especially if you don't live out of your car. $10,000 sounds like a lot, it's really not. And when it comes to poker, there's a lot of variance in this game and downswings are inevitable. You're just really kind of incentivized to take a lot of shots, I think, if you have 10K or less. I also had a job offer in San Diego from one of my friends, has a contracting company building GPS and missile systems for the US Navy. Pays decent, and so I had that kind of in my back pocket if things went awry. And things went pretty awry in 2019. I fired pretty much like 90% of my roll in tournaments and lost pretty much 90% of my roll in tournaments. My deepest run was in a slightly above a min cash in a daily deep stack, and I played several buy-ins that were 2, 3, and 5 times X the buy-in of that 250. So that was not really great. Overall, I felt pretty well with my play. Just ran really awful, and I mean the variance in tournaments is going to be massive. But I expect my edge in those tournaments to be pretty solid.
I don't hear much about guys who take their shot and miss.
So poker is awful. Moved to San Diego. Start working a real job again. It's going well. The only problem was that the contracts that this company had were pretty small, and so I was only employed part-time, and so if I'm trying to save up money and trying to build back a roll, working part-time doesn't really do that for me. So I ended up looking for another job in the San Diego area. Ended up finding one pretty easily in the same field, kind of like actually installing the systems that I was building on ships. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did put professional poker player on my resume for 3 years, the list of skills that involved, and didn't really have any trouble with searching for a job. I think my job search lasted less than 3 weeks before and went to several interviews before accepting this job offer. So yes, it is possible. So my plan for working a real job again was to save up hopefully around 50K in the bank, then come back to poker full time. That's a very healthy role for 2-5, 1-2, some small stakes tournaments. It's a really good spot to be in, kind of no matter what. If I lose 50K bankroll playing 2-5 and below, I just should not be playing poker, which some of you already know.
Chips. Changing 500!
The very first week a new job, my house blows a head gasket and the engine is shot. So that's a little over $2,000 right out the door. See you later. And a few months later, I am coming home on the interstate, or coming back to San Diego. Up ahead of me, a black sedan had just rear-ended a semi-truck on the freeway, and they were both sitting in the middle of the road, stopped with no lights. And so I come around the curve, I barely see this car in time, I slam on the brakes. There's not enough time, there's traffic around me, I can't switch lanes, and I smash pretty hard into this car. I'll show you the picture. And probably about 50 miles an hour, car spins out, ends up coming to a stop, sitting backwards on the interstate, and with still traffic coming at me. So I'm able to get out, not a scratch on me, I'm able to get out of the car, get off to the side of the road. Wasn't found at fault for the accident, but I also just had minimum insurance on my car, so I never got a check for that, so I had to buy another house. Another expense, pretty hefty. Right at the bat, I kind of have like these 2 big hits to my bankroll. Then COVID hits in March of last year. California, as you might have heard of, pretty well shut down for the most part on a lot of things. Sometimes we had curfews, no restaurants, no bars, no nothing was really open at all, which, I mean, I was working 60 hours a week. There wasn't really a lot of time to do anything. So, you know, as you'd expect in that situation, end up, you know, finding a girl and who lives 2 hours away in Los Angeles and going out with her. After the 5th date, decided to become Facebook official and started dating for about 6 months. Things were going well. We went jet skiing together. We went to Vegas together. It was the first time either of us have ever said "I love you" to someone of the opposite sex that we were not related to. Going really well overall, and then she left.
No, she was a good... I knew it. I knew it.
Not already gotten pretty personal in this vlog, so not gonna delve into details, but other than to say neither of us did anything wrong, and I really wish nothing but the best for her, because she's definitely gonna make some guy a really awesome wife one day.
I mean, I'd say good luck, but I know it's not about luck in your game.
Moving on, continuing to work, not playing a ton of poker, some on the side online, some of which I streamed, you might have seen those. Got into a couple of home games, a 1-3, 500 cap, a 5-5, 1K cap, but then I started working 12 hours a day, and it was about an hour drive one way to and from the games, and so it just kind of made sense. So it was kind of hard to put a lot of volume live in a game that was pretty hefty rake, and then I just don't have a lot of time and sleep and etc. So, and I would still come back to Vegas when I could, sometimes maybe about once a month or so, once every other month. It was only about a 5-hour drive, $30 in gas round trip, and you know, just come and play poker for a weekend, or just remember what it's like to sit down at a restaurant. Nothing really notable in the terms of wins or losses really until today. This trip has been absolutely incredible. Yesterday I won a whopping $11 over 7.5 hours at poker. Oh yeah, the other thing, I also won $1,573 going 5-0 in hockey bets. Now, let me stop the vlog here. No, I am not a professional sports gambler or handicapper. However, it is a market that is beaten by professionals year after year. People do actually do this for a living. Hockey is my favorite sport, and following along with it for quite some time now. I also did some of my own research, ended up subscribing to a site, paying about $1,000 for a season's worth of NHL picks from a handicapper who did the best on the site overall last year. That investment has already shown a profit, so it's been going well. Sports betting is something that a lot of poker players do, and a lot of poker players lose at, because kind of like in poker, people think they have an edge and they don't. The rake is just too high, the market is just way too efficient. I've heard some people argue that the NFL market is tougher to beat than the stock market. I don't necessarily disagree with that in some cases, unless you're ODD Baker and you just win everything in the past 2 years. You can do that too. Definitely a reason that why the poker room is almost always next to the sportsbook, because those two things go together pretty well in the terms of making the casino money. Sticking to your system is also very key in sports betting, just like in poker, bankroll management, right? You can't be chasing wins, chasing losses. I can't be thinking, oh, I'm 5-0, I should just start doubling my bet size or martingaling. None of that. That is absolutely how you go broke and get crushed. There's a lot of variance right now. On the good side, I'm definitely going to be on the bad side at some point. I also think this will add some more uniqueness to my channel, because there's not a lot of poker vlogs with some serious sports betting, which I think will be exciting for people to watch. But why am I in Las Vegas on a Wednesday when I normally have work? Great question. Okay, so this whole trip was only supposed to originally last a day and a half. I worked on Saturday, I drove up here after that, and was planning to just play Saturday night, play Sunday, drive back Sunday night, like I have done per the norm. There was a tournament series going on at Venetian. One of my poker friends was in town, said I should play it, it's really soft, etc. I was like, yeah, that's cool, but not really looking to fire like 2K worth of buy-ins right now, and I'm trying to save up money in tournaments. And I also just took a week off work, so I don't really have the PTO to take. So I'm just gonna go back to San Diego. And he said, oh, well, I could just put you in him, and offer me more than a fair percentage of myself. And so that was pretty enticing. And so I said, let me think about this. So I said, okay, fine, I'll stay. Tournaments end up going pretty poorly, go 0 for 8 for minus 2,200. Played pretty well. I did not win a single flip all week up until like the last turn. I think I went like 0 for 9 or something, which is not crazy, just unlucky. Losing jacks to king queen on king jack of 7, stuff like that.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Not 95%, no good. Deep-ish run, and that was in a $200 satellite to the $1,600 main. Just 24 left, 13 paid. Was looking to make a run. Under the gun opens, calls off 8-9 suited versus 20 big blind, my 20 big blind shove with ace king suited. Rivers an 8 and GG. So no real success there, although there was some partial success in the tournaments because I ended up swapping 10% in a 400 event with another friend of mine who's a pro. He ends up getting 5th, I think, 5th or 6th for 7K, so got $700 off of that. Then started grinding the cash games, hopped on the grind to get in the free rolls for Bally's and Flamingo. Expect your hourly to be pretty good there. And ended up doing really well in the cash games, went about $1,000, $1,100 in the cash over the week. And then if you place first in the top 2 tiers of both the free rolls, you can get cash for $850, a cash in second tier for both of those for $600. And the free roll tournaments are really where all the value is at. The games themselves aren't really great, a lot of local regs, but the games are pretty passive and beatable at least. And then the real value comes in the free rolls, where for as bad as cash game players as most of the people are, they're even worse tournament players. They're not good. And I know, please don't take offense, because I know a lot of you also watch this vlog. Yeah, so then all of a sudden in 1 week, I'm up about 2,200 a week in 1 week. And then on Monday morning, I wake up around 11 o'clock, check out Bravo, I see Caesar's Palace, a 10 a.m. $100 tournament is overlaying. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll go reg that. So go and reg that. A friend of mine who's also pro, unfortunately, also sees this overlay and registers as well. So it kind of takes care of the overlay, no more. But we are sitting, 5-handed with 1 paid, 1,020 for first. I'm 3rd in chips, and then just get into a dream spot. 5 left, I'm 3rd in chips, small blind on the button, small blind is 3rd in chips, and my friend is chip leader in the big blind. Open up aces on the button, and it goes shove, shove. Snap call, and then aces hold against ace queen and kings for like 90% of the chips in play. My friend still has chips after that, ends up going all in the next hand. I look down at ace king, call, and GG. Sorry, Brian. Anyway, win that for 1,020. Ended up winning, I think, about $600 that day in sports betting, and then, as I said yesterday, win $1,500 in that. So I ended up winning about $3,000 in the past 2 days, and like about $5,600 overall in the past week and 3 days. It's just been a pretty insane heater, one of the best of my life in terms of live poker and sports betting. So, all right, so now what's the plan, right? Well, I've decided that
I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm gonna go anymore.
And this is for a few reasons. This is not just because I want a lot of money. The big picture, like $5,000 is not a lot. It's significant, but it's not, it's not life-changing or anything. So the ship I had been working on and installing the system on just finally finished. We were 6 months behind on that, and that was not the worst my company had been working on. There's one ship that was supposed to be done over a year ago. It's still not done, and it's about $3 million plus over budget. So I ended up finishing up this last ship. I go to work on this new ship, and the team leads there are just pretty demanding, not really respectful, and just not really a healthy work environment overall.
When did you decide all of that?
About an hour ago.
Oh, really?
So for now, I'll be grinding just poker and sports for the next 2 or 3 months. A couple long-term free rolls that I think my hourly should be pretty high in, and things have been going pretty well. Games are good. And so I'm just gonna grind here for a few months, and then after that I'll probably go back to Florida for probably the maximum of 1 year. Not really a fan of Florida, but there's some other situations that make sense for me to go back there for a little while. My friend has a landscape company, offered me a job, not making as much money as I was at this other job, but the possibility to make almost as much, closer to a couple of my good friends who are going through some things. I'd be only about 6 hours away from my parents, and my dad was recently diagnosed with dementia, so I'd like to make some trips and memories with him before things get too advanced for obvious reasons. And so yeah, I'll do that for a little while. Still mostly on track for my goal of 50K in the bank. And then we'll be back to poker full time after that. So that's the channel, that's the updates. I actually do have a little bit more updates as far as the 40K that was allegedly stolen from me has been settled. Updates on that, but this vlog is already too long. Thanks for watching. Hustle until your haters subscribe. Deuces, thanks for watching. Biking's back, baby, let's go. About time we went on a heater.
You know what cheers me up when I'm feeling shitty?
What?
Rolled up aces over kings.
Is that right?
Yeah. Check raising stupid tourists and taking huge pots off them.
Yeah?
Stacks and towers of checks I can't even see over. Playing all night, high limit hold'em at the Taj, where the sand turns to gold.
Fuck it, let's go.
Don't tease me.
Let's play some fucking cards.